Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Dope Show. So I've been seeing a lot on Twitter and Reddit and everywhere, everybody's freaking out because nobody can get Adderall. Adderall supplies are short. And I'm telling you this right now, if you're at home freaking out because you can't get Adderall, that's because you're a drug addict. America is a drug addict country. Fentanyl, nicotine, soda with sugar in it, caffeine, heroin, coke, everything. Americans love their drugs. And now everybody on Twitter is having a panic attack because they can't get their Adderall. You know what Adderall is? It's an amphetamine salt. If you're taking Adderall, you're a drug addict. You are a drug addict. And I can say this because I worked in psych hospitals for years as a nurse. And I used to ask, because when the patients would come in, the doctors would take them off the Adderall. And I'd be like, Doc, why are you taking them off the Adderall? I thought Adderall was supposed to help them. And the doctors would tell me, hey, Adderall is just a Band-Aid. It increases suicidal thoughts. It increases hyperactivity behavior. And it increases people going to clubs, taking Adderall, trying coke, trying meth, trying everything. You're a drug addict. You're a drug addict. If you're freaking at home shaking and sweating because you don't have Adderall, it's because you're a drug addict. You're addicted to it. America's addicted to everything. We're the fattest, most sugar infested. There's been reports recently that chemicals in our food are banned in every other country in the world, even shitty ass countries ban this crap except in America because they just want to keep you fat and sick and stupid. You know, the thing that drives me crazy, I'm a Generation Xer. Do you remember anybody, if you're a Generation Xer or older, do you remember anybody that had ADHD? ADHD is this condition that they just made up. You know, they make up all of these conditions because these pharmaceutical companies want to make all this money. And they create all these drugs and then they just make up a condition. Do you sweat? Do you dream? Do you breathe? Do you walk? Well, if you do all these things, take the new cunnilingus, because cunnilingus will help you feel better. So this is what I think is so stupid. All of these people that are freaking out about Adderall. You're a drug addict. You're a drug addict. But just because your doctor prescribes it, doctors prescribe oxycodone and hydrocodone and fentanyl. Fentanyl is a drug that we use. I give fentanyl to patients that have cancer. It's a pharmaceutical drug. It's not some street drug. Doctors prescribe it, but people abuse it. You can abuse anything. You can abuse cigarettes. You can smoke 20 packs a day. You can abuse caffeine. How many people, the thing that I think is funny is how many people out there bitch at their kids for smoking weed, but then drink 47 cups of coffee and spend $2,000 a week at Starbucks because they need that caffeine fix. You're a drug addict. You're a drug addict. You know, it's ridiculous in this country. As a nurse, I always tell my patients, when a doctor gives you a medicine, before you just start taking it willy-nilly, research it. Go to drugs.com and research it, because a lot of these drugs have really bad side effects. So I'm not saying don't take your medicine. Take your medicine if you need it for blood pressure, things like that, cholesterol, but be smart about it. Don't just throw a pill down your throat and then wonder, oh, why am I addicted to it? Why is my head swelling up to look like the Elephant Man? Because all these medications have side effects, and especially recently with all these people that are anti-vaxxers. You don't like the vaccine, but you'll put Twinkies and you'll put Whataburger and you'll put cigarettes and you'll put coffee in your body, and your ass is as fucking white as the state of Texas, and then you're wondering, and then you're mad about vaccines? You're sick as can be. America's the most unhealthy country in the world. And the thing that drives me crazy is all of these diseases they create. Have you ever heard of restless leg syndrome? What the fuck is that? Uh-oh, I got some restless leg coming on. Hang on, everybody. Oh, shit. Getting the restless leg. Oh, yeah. Restless leg. My legs are restless. Oh, sorry about that. I had an attack of the restless leg. So I'm back now. Everybody calm down. You don't have to call the paramedics. You know, that restless leg, it comes on you. It's just stupid. People make up this crap all the time. And then they like to sit at home, you know, and go, well, you know, I'm taking a drug that was prescribed to me by a doctor. Yeah, you're a drug addict. If you're taking Adderall, you're a drug addict. You know what it is? Where did this hyperactivity crap come from? Isn't that just kids? Kids just run around like crazy. I have a kid. When she was little, she ran around like crazy, but I didn't put her on some drug. You know, when I was in school, nobody took Adderall. There wasn't even a thing called Adderall. You know, they just make this shit up, man. They just make it up. And then you parents just shove it down your own throats and shove it down your kid's throat because you're a drug addict too. You may not smoke weed and you may not, you know, shoot up the heroin, but fucking hey, man, you're taking all of your caffeine and your nicotine and your sugar and all the bullshit from chemicals that you put in your body from processed foods, and then you bitch about weed? Come on. How many people die because of heart attacks and cholesterol and blood clots? Not because of some drug they're taking, but because of the crappy ass food that they eat. Americans are stupid. This is the problem. Is back in the old days, people didn't have time to sit around and be depressed. You had to get out and you had to hunt some food, you had to grow some food, you had to work out in the fields, and it was either that or when winter comes, starve to death. But now our lives are so fucking easy. Everything's so easy. You know, we just kick back and I just run down to the fast food store and get some fast food and everything. And life is too easy. So now that because life is too easy, people have time to sit around and go, you know, I'm kind of fat and I'm kind of sad and I'm not rich enough and I don't drive a fancy enough car and I don't have a Rolex and I don't freaking, you know, have gold necklaces. And it's like people have too much time on their hands, so they just set about and become selfish and just focus on their own stupid thoughts in their stupid ass heads. That's where depression comes from. You know, and I'm going to tell you people, every once in a while it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be depressed. We have emotions for a reason. There is an evolutionary reason why we have emotions, because it's the way our brain copes with things in our life. You know, sometimes you're going to get depressed, sometimes you're going to be happy. You know, sometimes you're going to cry, sometimes you're not. It's okay. When a person dies, it's okay to be sad. When a relationship breaks up, it's okay to be sad. You know, if you don't get this job that you wanted, it's okay to be sad. You don't got to be on drugs. You know, what is it? Can people not feel anything anymore? Do we want to take away all feeling? Or we want to be robots? Do we want to go to a brave new world and take Soma so we can just all be happy all the time? Come on. You're a human being. You're supposed to feel emotions. That's part of being alive. You know, one of the things that I think is the stupidest thing is people are afraid to be alive. They're afraid to feel their pain and their trauma. You have to feel it. If you go to a therapist, one of the things that the therapist wants you to do is they want to bring out that trauma that you buried. And, you know, I'm going to tell you a really good story. When my dad died, I love my dad. Me and him are really close. I love my dad. He was a great dude. But when he died, I couldn't cry. And for a year, I was incredibly depressed. Thought about killing myself. Started experimenting with drugs and things like that. But you know what helped me? One day, I finally cried for him. And I broke down in one of those ugly cries where I got snot coming out of my nose and I just looked like crap. But you know, after I cried, I felt better. I felt better because it's okay to cry when you love somebody that means that much to you in your life and you lose them. And you know, it made me realize that that's the gift of being alive, is to love something so much, but then lose it and feel it. I'm not happy that my dad died, but I'm happy that I had the ability to love someone so much to feel it that strongly. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's the most beautiful thing in life. Not the loss, but being blessed to have someone in your life that you love that much, and then you can suffer that much because of that love being gone. It's really, you don't need ayahuasca to have a spiritual journey. That right there is a spiritual journey. You don't need drugs. Like I know, you know, we got drugs and drugs aren't bad. I don't think drugs are bad. I think that people just abuse them. And it's like they want to cover up every little human emotion with some drug, you know. Zoloft, Paxil, Adderall. Can't we just be alive? Why does it always have to be about the drugs all the time? It's just about the drugs. Can't we just be human beings and be alive for a moment in this world and experience, have another emotional emotional contact with another human being and be like, I know your pain, I feel your pain, but that's the part about being alive, is feeling it. I don't want to be a zombie. I want to feel things. I'm going to be anxious some days, and some days I'm going to have pain in my back, and some days I might be sad, but that's okay, because there's going to be other days when I don't feel anxious and I don't have pain and I don't feel sad. And we've got to take control of our own lives and our own brains instead of trying to mask everything. We need to confront it and face it and deal with the pain and move forward, because the pain is what makes us grow. That's one of the saddest things, is that everybody's just too afraid to face the future. But that's it. Time keeps marching forward, and you gotta face the future. Get off the stupid Adderall. Are you just bored? I think that's what a lot of it is people just get bored because our lives are so easy. It's like, I got 50 billion channels on TV. There's nothing to watch. I got 400 video games. There's nothing to do. Get out into nature. One of the things that makes me most happy in my life is being outside. I film all of my videos out here in my backyard because I don't want to be in some studio, and I know, I don't have a fancy microphone and a big green screen behind me, but I like to be outside. I like to feel the wind and listen to my dumb dog bark at squirrels and smell the smells of the earth. This is what life is about. Don't be afraid to live.